All right, we are live on the internet. So, welcome to FamiLAB's November membership meeting. Yay! We have all survived Maker Faire, it looks like. Yeah. We are alive past Maker Faire. So I'm gonna let Dan start off with our financial update, and then we've got talk about a lot of other stuff. So, Dan?
Okay. Well, we had in donations, and we had about $56 in the general donation box, 39 in the laser. We had the wood burning class brought in $25 since last month. With membership changes, it was gained one, lost one, so it stayed pretty even at 126 total members. I don't remember. I usually had been during the hotter months. I've been commenting on how much or how little we were spending on AC. It's gotten cooler, so that's down more. But we made it through the summer without spending a huge amount of money on AC, which was good.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody has looked at it, but I think it was like 112 hours is all the AC's run since I put that thermostat in.
Ah, okay, very cool.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
Sure.
So next item is Maker Faire. So I tried to get a little bit of information from Candy, but we didn't get. She hasn't finished going through all the numbers yet. So for the approximate number of visitors, the last discussion that was had was there was about 15 or 16,000 last year, and they did about 40% more this year. That's the closest I have on the number of people who came to Maker Faire. As far as the people that learned to solder, we had a little over 700. I think that's lower than it was last year. I think we had 900 last year. Is that correct, Jamie?
Yeah, we've averaged about 900 for the last couple of years.
So one of the reasons for it being a little bit lower is on the map they put us in the wrong place. So the map was pointing to a completely different location than we actually were at. Also, people couldn't see us because we were behind the big line for the shirts. So with those two items, I think it affected that. However, in talking with Candy, normally they give us about $1 per pin. But because costs were lower this year and we had helped out quite a bit on the arena and other parts of Maker Faire, they ended up upping it a little bit. So they ended up giving us about $1,000. It looks like we're gonna get from Maker Faire for soldering. Also, things that were found in the warehouse, we found a bunch of Radio Shack flashlights and soldering kits. We sold 6 of the soldering kits at $20 a piece, and we sold 42 of the flashlights at $1 a piece. So we'll get that cash from Maker Effect as well. So is there anything else anybody wants to add for Maker Faire related stuff? How did the table do?
The table did pretty well. We were busy as usual. Payment starts. I think at least a handful of them will show up. We encourage lots of people to come to the open mids, as well as the open houses. So
There's one guy who came, he was talking about like an air show up in Wisconsin, and that, I guess he may have talked to you guys at some, something about like wanting to send like a few people from the lab or something like that.
I was going to talk about that later on in the outreach section, but I can move that up a bit. So during Maker Faire, 4 different groups approached me at the soldering area and wanted to have us come out and do soldering at their various events, and some of them were as big, if not bigger, than Maker Faire. The general answer I gave was, I would love to talk to you about it, but not right now in the middle of Maker Faire. And I told them to contact us via the website, and we'll go through and have a longer discussion. One of them was the EAA guy for the flight stuff. They wanted to make little crystal radios. with kids, which they're talking about like an hour-long soldering project for each of them. I have no idea how that will work and if it will work. Also, did not discuss financial portion of it. There's a guy from Hacker Boxes who wants us to come out to wherever they're having their convention in. It's not till January of next year, not 2020 but 2021. And they're talking about having about 30 different soldering stations set up with people learning, which is a lot larger than what we've done at Maker Faire previously. There was another guy wanted to talk to us about school, and somebody else wanted to talk to us about. It was another soldering project, I can't remember. But I told them all to contact us through the website, and we would go through and have a discussion when Maker Faire is not in the middle of everything. So that's one thing that we can do as far as outreach. It'll help financially. It'll also help get the name out there a little bit more. We need to try and do some more stuff regarding outreach, just because we just don't have a whole lot of outreach now, and mostly the people who are here are the people who would end up doing a lot of the outreach anyway. So if you guys have ideas on things that we can do with the city, with the county, with schools, whatever it is that we need to do in order to try and get our name out there a little bit more, because the future members are those, late high school students. It's also the old guys who are retired who want to come out and make stuff. Our demographic is pretty much everybody. So if you guys have ideas for outreach, I would love to hear them.
The two people from similar county schools came out yesterday, so they would love for us to come out. Especially, we're very interested in really robots and providing lightsabers.
Sure.
I know Altamont Springs has a bunch of things that they do, Raccoon's Roost or various other parks, like maybe doing stuff like that around different cities.
Absolutely. Taking a table, we need to get together another essentially like a go box for events. I know we had one previously, but I think it's kind of been scavenged over and parts taken out of it. We just need to get parts together and get that set up, because we do need more members. It's going to help us grow. More members typically is more knowledge. We just don't want to destroy what we have here. So, I'm gonna skip back up to where I was at previously. So that's kind of the end of Maker Faire, and I covered all the outreach stuff. Does anybody have anything else for Maker Faire or outreach before moving on? Okay.
Maker Faire was awesome.
Yay! Thank you, Lily, for putting on awesome stuff.
Yeah.
You slept more than I did this year.
I did.
How many days till next month for the fair?
Actually, it's about 365.
No, it's 361. 14.
About 365.
They're shooting to move it a little bit later next year,
Yeah,
because of the presidential election. They don't want it to run up to be right afterwards, because there would be zero coverage.
Real quick, just because you said coverage and Maker Faire the other morning, a lot of people that came up and talked with us, whether it was looking for this location or other ones, it kind of dawned on me, no makerspace really advertises that they're a makerspace and hey, come and check us out. So, and I understand, yeah, we don't have the budget for that, but like the outreach programs and stuff like that, the other thing that I had mentioned at one point was even like the little postcard size little advertisements. We all have that little coffee bar we go to, or the cool little gadget shop. If we can find out if we can place them at those kind of locations where other like-minded people go to, might help.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like almost no one outside of a makerspace knows where they are because we don't advertise.
Yeah.
So when everyone was asking, why are there, no, I know there's ones over there. Type in your address, type in makerspace, hackerspace, where you want. They'll tell you where the closest one is, but they're not going to jump out and say, "Hey, come over here, come over here." You have to actually go look for it. So if we can do even like those little flyer size stuff, hey, we're down here, this is what we, same thing, there's like a little list of things we can pop on there, 60-watt laser, drill press.
We can
box,
clean up a lot of that card and repurpose it for that item. So sure, that's going to be somebody taking it on though, whoever that ends up being.
Why are you looking
Thank
at
you
me?
for volunteering.
No, he's up here looking at me.
But that's a lot of the things, like, we would love to do that, it's just finding people with bandwidth to do it. I think,
If I can do it on Photoshop, I'll see what I can do.
Sure.
It might take a little bit, but
learn Illustrator.
This way faster than it is now, you can wait.
I'm
Illustrator is what illustrators make the damn card. That's how they make all the maps. They make their fair maps.
Don't we have files for those?
Can I
Can we
make
make those?
Photoshop
Probably.
and transfer it?
The maps,
No,
the cards.
If we do not have them, we can get them. I think Katie did the last revision to it. And
Mike,
did
it's
that.
either Mike or Katie. I'm not sure which.
Mike
so-
did one.
Yep. All right. So next item is pallet racks. Ian has reached out to me and mentioned that he has a friend in Ocala that has to empty out a warehouse that is full of pallet racks by December 1st. I've been trying to figure out how we're going to get them here, how many we can use, but the answer is we have as many as we could possibly stand because it is a warehouse the size of ours with just rows and rows of pallet racks.
So I have to move that weekend. I'll split a truck rental.
Are you talking like when you go Lowe's type racking?
Sounds like we have to, right?
Yeah.
Very similar to, yes. They're like 4 foot by 10 foot sections, and currently they're 24 foot tall, which is not easily transportable. Also, what?
If you rent a truck.
Well, even if you rent a truck, it's still not easily transportable because it's just very large. But it's not. It wouldn't be safe to have that here even because how would you get there? You'd have to use a ladder to get up there, and it's just not going to be safe to get.
What's the height of ours in here?
Like 12.
Oh.
These are 24 foot tall. We were talking with.
That is very
It is very tall. Yes.
So you need a scaffold to disassemble them.
Right. Talking with Harry over at Maker Effects, talking about cutting them down to like maybe 18 feet, which is an acceptable amount of height.
I was going to say, currently we used to just, before things changed, we used to just come to a size that we needed, basically.
Yes, you can do that with these as well. And as far as my understanding, they come with the horizontals. There's as many verticals as you want, as many horizontals as you want, plywood, or particle board or whatever it is that they're using.
It should be the wire deck on this.
I don't think they're wire deck. I think it's all plywood on those.
Well, if they have plywood, you can put like 2x12 or 2x8.
I think that's what they have.
That's the cross sliding.
Correct.
I thought the plywood is for sprinklers when they come on. Plywood is the
For fire code, you either have to have the 2x6 spread out, and usually there's a drop on metal perforated sheet that locks all together.
I don't know. My understanding is there's plywood. That's it. Yes.
But they're
But
free.
they're free, and it's so I'm talking with a few people at Maker Effects, trying to find out when they can go because essentially they're going to end up being the points of contact for the whole thing because they're the ones who know the people.
So, 3 days special. Those uprights can actually be chopped up and turned into workbenches. You make the workbenches out there to do.
That was one of the things that I'd already mentioned is when we where we would end up using them, good places would be to maybe line the walls with them and the bottom shelf at the height of a workbench. And then we can put task lighting and things like that is one of the things I was thinking.
We can't put stuff on like can't put the heavy stuff on.
Some stuff can be heavy, but not terribly heavy, depending on how we do it. If we end up putting, trying to think through like different options, putting things on pallets, and we have that hand pallet jack that we can roll up over there and just pull stuff off the shelf and pick it up. But it's something we can discuss as we go. But being able to get them here, we have a limited amount of time when we can do it.
The biggest problem is the high phone right now. If they were 12s or 14s.
Right. Well,
easier.
the discussion with the people at Maker Effects is they're going to try and get some, and we're going to try and get some. We're going to take a bunch of sawzalls with us and cut them down there. So.
Lights aren't that expensive. We bought it used locally.
Well, these are free.
Plus, plus the beams are I think they feel comfort.
These are tons of it.
They can be transported. The uprights we really need to buy something ready to transport them. It's something special.
We were going to end up getting a 20-foot truck, box truck, and get them and bring them back here. But it's essentially as many uprights and horizontals as we want.
Are all the beams 10 foot?
I don't know. You know as much as I do at this point.
I was gonna say, if they're 10 foot or less, we've got the 8-foot trailer that can take the tailgate off of it and transport the beams in that and free up the longer truck for the uprights.
Say again?
I was gonna say, if they're 10 foot or less, we've got the open sided 8-foot bed trailer, and we can take the tailgate off and transport just beams and that.
I've got a 14-foot flatbed as well.
I was gonna say, if we use the rented truck for as many uprights and stack that thing, and then we use the trailers for the beams.
Yeah.
We can do it that way.
So, the tentative date is going to end up being this Friday. I only found out about it and finally got that nailed down today. To that, so.
I'll be available after 6, unfortunately.
You can help unload it. Ocala. About an hour. So, but this is all. I don't even know more details than what I've already told you. Details will probably come in the next day or so. Don't know anything more than what I've already
I know
told
it's
you.
a short turnaround.
Say
Oops, I can hear myself echoing, sorry. I know it's a short turnaround, but it may be worth doing a quick sketch of where to store the things in the meantime, if it hasn't already been talked, and how to kind of play Tetris to move things around just for the temporary storage of it.
Right. That's something that I was gonna try and work out tonight with some people who are here. If we can try and figure out what we're doing. Okay. Pointing. I don't know that I would put that much stuff on the roof.
Fair. Especially on the side.
That side is. This side is not. This side is zero storage. We're not allowed to put anything up there. We are not allowed to put anything beyond the wall of the. No, the steel beam is so we can put a pole in the middle of this. Because there would have to be a post in the middle for the side room.
No one wanted a big old stripper
So,
pole.
yes, we will try and figure out where we're going to store them and what needs to be rearranged. That's also on the agenda is, what we're going to rearrange in the warehouse, how we're going to use them, and how many we actually need. So, we'll try and figure out some of that tonight as we walk around. We are to another quarterly cleanup. I think we've actually gone beyond the last one. It would be nice to try and clean up the warehouse a little bit, find out where half of our crap is gone that is missing, Uh,
What are we missing?
most things. Like there's no calipers anywhere. There's no a lot of the tools that are out there. There's not there. There's a lot of things just all over the place. Just a lot of disorganization, and generally just dirty out there.
I think that this is a do a whole hell of a lot of work opportunity. I mean, because if we're gonna be lining pallet racks, this is the opportunity to organize fucking the entire warehouse.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity with this.
So any ideas about how you'd like things laid out?
I was a big fan of the couch.
That's gonna happen again.
Yeah, we should try to keep one 24-foot tall rack.
Have that couch as high as possible. I like looking down on all of you.
Is the roof in the center actually at 24 feet?
I don't know.
We can find out.
So, whatever the extension ladder is that we have, fully extended.
It's only a 20-foot extension ladder. So
So you have to jump the last floor.
Well, that extension ladder does reach,
With
but
with
it
1
is
inch,
goddamn near
with
vertical.
1 inch, 1 inch to spare, and at about
But it's
Well,
okay.
it's a good-
They would put hooks on the end. And by hooks, I mean there's just 2 bolts sticking out, so we can hook it on the ground.
I don't want to know this.
I was here when he put in the new
I
life
used to
server.
just climb racks when I worked as a stock clerk. It's not a problem.
no, it's not.
Don't.
Not
We
my
have
problem.
to worry about
on the
insurance.
internet, my official statement is: do not do anything dangerous at the lab.
There's a
Period.
hospital right there.
If the racks go
Do not
like
make
all
it
the way up to the
paperwork
ceiling or
generated.
almost all the way up, then
I
they're
agree,
safer
Jamie.
because they can't tip over.
Yeah.
It's a safety feature.
So, if we don't need them, we don't need them. But if we can use them, I would like to take the opportunity to get them if we can.
Yeah.
Continuing on with the quarterly cleanup, try and clean up after yourself. I mean, I know pretty much everybody who is here are the people who tend to clean up after themselves anyway, but it's our space. Keep our space nice. Also, the dust in the warehouse. I know that there is going to be dust from almost anything. If there's anything you can do to try and reduce the amount of dust that's getting everywhere, because it is thick on everything out there. Whether it's dust collection, turn on the vacuum, whatever you can do, because there's issues with things like the SEM. They were trying to cover it up this last weekend because there was piles of dust showing up all over the place. If there's something you can do to help clean it up, to keep the dust to a minimum, please try. Please do what you can.
What we used to do in the workshop was just 20-inch, cheap little 20-inch box fans
Mm-hmm.
to help circulate air, and where you just duct tape or zip tie a filter to the backside. So as we're pulling air in, it would trap the dust and actually trap quite a bit. And just having the cheap little fan blowing air around helps a lot. So it's nice and cool outside for the next couple of days.
Yep.
Crack them open and just
That was discussed, and that was previously set up at one point in time when all the branding was taking place in an actual metal working area, and not a metal melting area. I don't know why we put that in place over here.
But
It's definitely, I don't know if it wasn't set up or the box wasn't broken or something, or.
if we can try and limit the amount of dust that's getting everywhere, it'd be helpful for keeping the lab clean.
Yeah,
Because it gets tracked everywhere. It just generally would keep the lab a lot nicer.
We run the vacuums and power tools and cutting stuff.
Well, I mean, if we end up redoing all this stuff because as we've already talked about, rearranging everything, if we want to spend a little bit of money or mostly just energy more than anything else, setting up some kind of a vacuum system for a lot of the dust around the tools, so that it's going to minimize that dust staying out.
Right.
If we
So-
put pallet rack over the work tables, Jesus. bring the whole collection system off of
Exactly.
it.
I'm down for that.
Yep. And it would give us more table space. It would give us task lighting as opposed to the high bay lighting.
Mhm.
It would give us option for a lot of things.
Fucking do it.
Make us look fucking professional.
No, no,
No, we're not Maker Effect.
don't stop that.
We're not allowed to look for.
I did almost take out Maker
In the
Effect.
meantime of us dreaming.
Since
Yeah, I know. I
Katie's
was up
not
on the
here-
raft when you were doing it.
Oh yeah.
Since Katie's not here, can we go back after installing the racking and do our code and see what?
No.
No.
That would be that's an exercise left to the user.
So in the meantime, in this whole thing of getting the airport system up there, I was using the table saw and the bathroom did not turn on. So what was I doing wrong?
Did
Probably
you
wasn't
turn it on?
plugged into the thing.
Well, no, I checked the plugs. I plugged everything in, so I didn't know.
Is there a switch on? There's a switch on the vacuum.
Okay, I thought it was like
Table saw didn't have a switch.
so that it would switch on
Oh.
automatically when I turned on the power
Somebody
strip.
could turn it off the vacuum. I mean, it was disconnected last time I was out there as well. That's one of the reasons why I was changing out the blade, and then it just
Yep.
got late. So,
I took it all apart yesterday and dumped all the dust out of it because it was completely full. I need to get the models of the vacuums out there because when I opened up the one on wheels over there nearby, the filter just completely fell apart. It just,
yeah.
there was nothing left of it.
Somebody was using the vacuum up something, and then they got dust and also got mold inside of it. And we had a while back.
Well, I'll order new filters for both those vacuums.
Yeah, the vacuum's not suitable for dust collection on table saw. Like the big jet dust collector out there, the second one,
Mhm.
we found it.
Yeah, we've got a separator for the table saw, which helps.
Yep.
But we've got to still have some added filtration on the
I agree. But that's one of the things that if we end up getting the rack and we end up having the ability to put in plumbing out for all the sections, it'd be nice to be able to cycle all that stuff right there. Next item is ceiling power retracts and lighting. There's been quite a few lights that have gone out. We've talked previously about replacing some of the retracts that are broken, and well, all those LED lights that we have are pretty much all dead, with the exception of the few that have recently been added. What was the hold up on that, Lily, as far as putting the retracts in? Was it just time and money?
I can do it.
Okay.
Trying to let that on.
Yeah, so we talked about running a lift for that. There's a lot of things that we could use a lift for. We're trying to do it all at the same time if we can.
How high is the ceiling out there?
We were guesstimating 20 feet because of the ladder.
20-ish.
I mean, I can find out, but
Yeah, you can measure it.
Depending on how tall it is, I know the scissor lifts, I don't know if they'd be willing to donate it or do a special price on it. The full-on scissor lifts at Home Depot are either 20 or 26. The smallest thing, which is a single man lift, is 19 foot, but that's standing height. So if it's 25 or less, even a single man would be enough to get up that high.
okay.
I agree, the only advantage of the full-on scissor lift is being able to have one or two people or more in there at one time. So if everything
Which could be very useful. If they want to donate, that'd be fantastic. If they want to give us a reduced rate, that would also be fantastic.
The best thing as far as I know for anything like that is it needs to be on an official letterhead and just indicating that's a non-profit.
Which we have those stuff. We have all the
blah, blah,
documentation.
blah. Anything you can do would be helpful and see what they want to do. Of course.
Yeah.
Now the only problem is when they deliver them, they're on a low-slung trailer, so it's getting it up and into the warehouse. You need a forklift or something like that, and then you have to have a forklift to get it back and down.
We'll go to rental side. That's the GOG ones that are.
Yeah. The biggest problem with that is number one, the weight of those machines, and number two, once you get to the top, there's no way you're gonna be able to turn on that short platform to go through the door. It's basically you're gonna have to have a forklift or something like that, you pick it up and put it in the rolling bed.
Or even bigger ladder.
I mean, if you want to do ladders, we've got 32 footers.
I've got big
Extensions.
ladders that I can bring as well if I have to. But
A-frame, it's 14 foot max, and that's going to be the top of the wrapping.
it's too tall for an A-frame ladder out there to keep ceiling. So
The extension.
I've got access to 20-ish foot one from work and a 40-ish foot one from work. So okay, so that's we'll try and work on that probably first of the year. Sounds
That sounds reasonable.
like a reasonable time frame.
Do we want to make a channel for it? Hashtag not another Slack channel.
Warehouse upgrades might not be a bad place. All right, so the next item is the Christmas party. So date and time, we really have not fully decided on it yet. We'll put out a form later on. The tentative date that we kind of talked about during board meeting was the 21st. I know several people said that they would not be able to make that. I have no problems with shifting it to a different day. The one thing that seems to be gaining a little steam is about the 31st, combining it with New Year's. I think that's a great idea. If anybody wants to, is okay with that, we can
Sounds good.
try and push towards
Is
that.
there any interest in putting out like a form or a when is good, like we've done in previous years, to see when would be good for everybody? Because it looks like you're pretty sparsely populated there tonight.
It's very sparsely populated here, and we are going to try and put the form out later tonight. But that's kind of what we're
Like not the RSVP form, but like a vote for dates form.
right. Correct.
Well, we could just make it open to the whole chat.
We'll put something out so that people can choose a date. Yep. But that seems like what most people, the people who have mentioned it, have said they wanted to do anyway. But I think that's a great idea as well. As far as organization, is there anybody who is willing to kind of take it on as far as their project? So, yep, nobody's answering. So.
I mean, I'll help, but.
We will figure it out. We will make it happen. There'll be a great party.
Step 1, date. Step 2, organizer.
Yep. So we'll put out the poll tonight, or in the morning. I'm not sure if we can get to it tonight or not. We have other things to talk about still with the warehouse. But there'll be a poll out as far as when do we want to have it, and then once we figure that out, then we'll go with who can organize some of the stuff.
I think we should find a way to bolt it onto the wall, so it just, instead of it being upside down, so it's just
Get out. Get out.
I mean, we could float it from the ceiling to.
Yeah, well, we did win it from the ceiling.
So, like,
We can put it
Actually,
on a
it's
ceiling
wired.
fan motor so it's just spinning.
I say we combine the two, we portal it. One half
We
going
did-
into the ceiling.
We did that 2 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, we-
darn.
Fuck it, let's just shibari the tree.
Yes, I volunteer.
As the tree or as doing the shibari?
Yes.
All
I'll
right.
Put my hand down.
We will decide that.
That is another item of discussion. Is there anything that anybody wants to add to the Christmas party discussion?
I was thinking about organizing a little meetup to make Christmas tree ornaments, because some of the ones I've noticed over the years, like breaking and disappearing and stuff like that.
That's character.
But it would be nice to have
Right.
some nice
But
new ones.
We have a lot of new members, and we thought it might be kind of nice, for us to get into build and make meets. So, and someone had mentioned that, great night would be to do it on the link pack.
Sure.
Well, here we're over link pack.
If it does end up happening on the 31st, probably good to decide now, because of FamiLAB rules and the fact that nothing dangerous is allowed, pyrotechnics are strictly disallowed at a New Year's Eve FamiLAB Christmas party.
Are they?
No, they're not.
Prefabbed or improvised?
There is no pyrotechnics inside the warehouse.
Yeah, inside.
But in the classroom, it's fine.
No.
It's
Nick
not in
and
the
I will
wheelhouse.
make our flower
Right.
cannon, damn it.
Outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Duh.
fireworks in the bathroom.
I don't want to put a fireball in the warehouse. I have to do the paper.
Somebody has got to agree to have one anyway.
So, all right.
Just blow the floor.
Okay. Forget I said anything to that.
Already done.
We got all these little holes in the warehouse now. They're perfect for launching bottle rockets.
So, 4 a.m. Friday night at
All right.
Baker Grille, I was walking around finding all the leaks.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
several.
At 4 a.m. on Friday night is when Ian was finding a snake in the
There was a leak right above the arena. And then one right over one of the big makers at the front upstairs.
And how many of those were because of bots?
Probably because of the gun show. Is this thing loaded? Oh shit!
No, that would have made the news.
Would it have that?
Yeah, there was a couple in our building too, because one was fairly directly over our rolling cart.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's
So I'll move on now. Is there anything else for the Christmas party?
Are we doing stickers this year?
No.
Any volunteers?
There are no funds.
No, please let pass.
Were we supposed to set up a date for the carnival meeting? Or just talk about it?
Well, right now we're kind of at a point where there are so many things going on. I don't know that a date would work until after the new year, but I think that we can mostly just talk about it right now, and we'll set a date at the next meeting for that. Because right now I'm willing to bet that between now and New Year's, most people have most things already kind of set in stone. So. All right, next item, camera policy updates. Camera policy updates. There's been a couple of requests for changes to the policy as far as the reasons for review requests. We were reviewing the policy last night, a few of the board members when we were here. It's already written in there about reviewing for excessive mess. But I'm not sure exactly how much of an adjustment we want to do. I really do not want to change the requirement that it's done by at least a board member and 2 non-members or 2 non-board members that are not related to the incident. I do not want to change that portion of it. Is there anybody who wants to add any discussion before we put it to an RFC or anything like that?
I think that the cameras are in here for security, not for your goddamn mothers.
I pretty much agree. But being able to check them for if there's been a huge mess left or something like that.
Well, that's in there.
That's in there.
Excessive mess.
Yep.
What do you guys do if there's a theft? We
That's
talked
the-
about last stuff being stolen from areas.
If stuff has been stolen, it has not been mentioned to the board, and so we have not done any camera looking, primarily because nobody's mentioned it to us.
So you at least have like 30 days.
We have about 15. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is about what the hard drive holds. Any comments before we move
Is this
on?
related to how to change your guidance on things?
Yes.
Is this all stemming from the conversation on the side?
It's part of conversations on Slack. It's part of other things as well.
Okay.
But
Well, if it
people,
has anything to do with what I said on Slack, I'm
I didn't even know. I don't know what you would post on Slack.
I just griped about being dirty in the witch hop, and that was just me playing shit around stuff for second day.
There's been discussion of it prior. It's like, well,
We've talked about doing it on FamiLAB too. It just isn't the right place. We'll talk about it. We talked about doing like a semi-anonymous track
and I don't know if it was on that conversation, but it's just not the right stream line.
The security cameras are air gapped and nobody gets access to them without approval of the board, and it's a board member and 2 non-board members that are unrelated to the incident who get to review it. If somebody brings an incident to the board for review.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was an incident or not.
I've had the
That's the other
cameras.
problem is that it's not like it's like, oh, someone left a mess, now we have to put it all out.
Right, yeah, you gotta report it as soon as you find it, otherwise it's not gonna be.
A mess shouldn't be that escalated. I think it's.
Well,
I think I probably haven't
let's
been
put it
into
this
that.
way, the other day out in the woodshop, there was literally sawdust all over the floor in big piles, right, and that, as soon as that was noticed by somebody, but something like that should probably have been reported to find out why somebody didn't put up for themselves, you know, you're making a lot of fuss.
I think the frustrating thing for me is if I create a big mess there, I just wanted to make enough noise that it doesn't
Right,
go
right.
unnoticed. But,
People want to pay attention,
yeah.
and we've had repeat offenders that don't seem to care.
We've had the cameras for what, like 2 years now, year and a half. How has the policy worked? Like, have people asked to like view them and
There has been only a couple of incidents where people have asked for reviews.
I lost my laptop and needed help.
and did it work?
Yeah.
Like, so
About once a month, we check the cameras to make sure that they're actually recording. That's usually about the time of our board meeting. We don't typically report it because we're not reviewing anything. We just go on. Is the time set correct? Is all the cameras actually showing video? Is there any particular issues? And then we lock the cabinet back up, and it's locked back away.
And the current policy has worked so far.
Generally,
I currently like the rules. I think we should go up to an RFC.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if there's any more discussion since it was something that just came up this week.
There's not really any request to change it, there's been problems with messes and I'm not sure that was something that's covered in the policy, so that's why we brought it up.
Well, it's actually explicitly
Yeah,
covered
it's
under the
covered,
policy.
It's in the policy.
Yep.
Yeah, it says, it says messes.
So, but all right. So the answer, the question comes down to is, how do you define excessive messes? If there's any discussion we want to have as far as that, I don't think there needs to be a policy change. I think it's just figuring out what the definition of that comes down to. So,
I mean,
If
food
not-
left in the classroom and on the tables and
If not for a policy change, maybe it should be something that we put up to an RFC every year or so just to update, like, that it's working and this is still the camera, do these camera rules still work?
sure.
It might be something you just do every year anyway.
The policies. I mean, at our annual meeting, we can have a discussion for that as well. So, all right. Anything else on the camera policy related stuff before we move on? Okay. We've already talked about the outreach section. Next item is parking. We have had an issue a few times with box trucks from our neighbors being parked in front of our in front of the loading dock or down here at the end, blocking access to the lab. In conversations with Dave, he wants us to essentially report it to him through the board whenever there's an issue with this or an incident happens. He also had said that he's going to be putting up no parking signs along the grass, so along the back area out there. It's understandable that we don't have enough parking for the number of members. Try and fill in the actual parking places first before parking over there. Don't block other tenants. Don't be a dick. General policy stuff. General, generally just don't be a dick to people. Be excellent to each other.
Is a shared makerspace, hackerspace, is a shared building.
So, try and park in the parking places first. If you can't park in the parking places, try and be organized when you park down the side. If there is somebody parked out there that, like a box truck that has kind of been left there overnight, let the board know. We'll have a conversation with Dave. We'll keep track of it, and it'll get taken care of. Also, please don't park in front of the roll-up door if you don't need to be parked in front of the roll-up door. It makes it hard for people to load and unload. There are, at least myself with the car that can plug in. I don't know if anybody else has one. I think there's a few people who come for a couple of the other events that do plug in occasionally. But parking over there, it blocks access to those things. So if you do not need to be parking in front of the roll-up door, please don't do it. Is there anything else regarding parking stuff? Anybody have any other comments, statements?
I mean, you mentioned like the no parking signs. I know some of them are, have from this time to this time. Is it possible, like, to request that those signs leave open, like, Tuesdays from like?
I think that would be a bit of a stretch on that, but I can ask Dave about saying.
Even if it's say no overnight parking along the thing. So essentially,
Sure.
You're coming in parking for while you're here, and then you're leaving. That's one thing. When the trucks are sitting there, and they've obviously been sitting there since like 10 o'clock last night, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. That's too long to be sitting when you're on the spot.
Right. So especially if it's blocking somebody else's access. So this is a discussion that's gonna be kind of ongoing with Dave anyway. But generally, just try and be good for us at least, and we'll deal with the other tenants as we go.
I just
You mentioned fill up proper parking spaces first. Can we get those repainted, relined with something? They're very, very hard to see, especially.
I will ask Dave if he wants to do it or if he wants us to do it, but it would not be that big a deal to go out there with a roller and just paint it in a short time. I don't know. I would have to.
6 defined parking spaces.
Okay. So I will ask Dave if he wants to do it or if he's going to do it or what's the status of that. That's an easy question.
That's the big break that likes to park directly from outside. I think in the morning.
That's the food delivery or the
Chicken place.
The chicken place. Yeah.
So they drive all night to get here and then they deliver unload in the mornings and leave.
Right, but it's also usually the chicken place that's got a truck that's parked over here blocking us in.
Yeah.
So if there's vehicles that are blocking access or have been sitting there unattended for long periods of time, I mean, if they're just here for a few minutes and they're they're here for maybe an hour or something like that as they're unloading, yeah. But if they're there and they just said, oh, we're gonna leave the truck here for a day, that's a different story.
The guys that move in those smart classes is kind of annoying to actually block the access to get out.
They do it all the time, yeah.
And that's also something I've mentioned to Dave, and I'll bring that back up again.
Just like if I need to get some really quick
Okay. I will bring that back up to Dave as well.
They've been informed as well as us that is an active driveway and they should not block it, and they cannot block it, but they're still gonna do it, and the best we can do is keep informing Dave that, hey, this shit's blocking our way. Generally, if you go up there and ask them, they'll notice, and we usually.
If you can find it.
I suppose that truck in the morning, that truck is always running too.
Yeah, usually the guys just camp out and
Yeah.
just kind of,
But he's always,
It's usually okay. It's
yeah,
always-
that one's not blocking too much except for the fire hydrants that you have to take out.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Don't block the fire hydrant, please.
Is there like a certain distance you should leave? 10 feet?
Didn't you get a driver's license? Yeah, it is.
Window of the car and put it through the
What's the rule of thumb on the test beds at the booklet?
The section of roadway, you know, when we're overloaded like this, coming in, that choke point with all the trucks is going
It's usually like about one lane, which is usually about 10 feet.
So if we're not, and parking for parallel parking, we do a good parking.
We're here. The thing is, we're here so we can go move our vehicles. if
True
anyone
enough,
else needs to get in.
but usually it's an emergency situation where a fire truck has to get in into that fire.
It's usually a 10-foot
That's
section.
10 foot.
Okay. Anything else?
I'll be the one that is more.
Anything else related to parking? Okay. So Thanksgiving, there will be an unofficial potluck at the lab for Thanksgiving. If you are without family or find yourself in, times when you are bored and alone,
Or your family sucks.
or your family
I was
sucks,
gonna say, if you just don't want to be with your family.
there will be a potluck here at the lab. Come enjoy, have some food, enjoy. Company stuff. Please don't burn the lab down.
No deep frying inside the lab.
No deep frying frozen turkeys.
Inside the lab.
Explosive turkeys. Explosive ejected
Uh,
And if you did deep fry a turkey frozen or otherwise, film it for YouTube.
and do it outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
From that
And
same.
point it away from
turkeys. You mean the turkey mortar?
All right. So that will be Thanksgiving Day. What, Chris? What is the time you want to put on that?
Okay, we'll probably show up like around noon with food, stacks of games, bad movies, like drop in when we can, stay as long as you like.
You should have as many bad movies as you'd like. From my server.
Something similar like that as well.
Possibly. All right. The next item on the list is a very important marker. So this month is the end of our loan. We are officially done with our loan at the end of this month. So thank you to all you people who happen to have been here during the entirety of this location. We've been here for 5 years now.
So that means we need to find a new location, do another build out.
No. Nope.
Oh, hell no.
Says they
Open up
moving
the
trucks
house.
to the back of the room.
What was that?
It means we need to improve our space.
I'm assuming it was Jamie who was making comments.
I was
think-
definitely hell knowing a move.
I think she
Ever
just
again.
left.
Ever again, unless someone's paying for it and doing it for us, damn it.
So I've been in discussion with Dave. Our rent shall drop a significant amount. We are going to be starting a new lease for 5 years, probably next month. I'm going to be meeting with Dave soon to finish doing some of the lease, and we'll be going over the lease agreement with the rest of the board soon. So
It's time to franchise. It's time to franchise out.
That is
Uh,
the Maker Effect
I was
started.
gonna say.
yeah, Maker Effects was FamiLAB South.
Yeah.
So we are officially at the end of the loan. So thank you all who helped for build out. Thank you all that have helped make this place what it is for the last 5 years in this location. So. And with that, I have come to the end of our board-led section. So is there an ops person who's taking it on? It looks like Brian is the only ops person here.
Hey, Don, me. I'll fucking do it.
All right, so
Hey,
I'll do
guys.
the ops section. Please clean up after yourselves. Remember, we don't have janitorial staff. This is a group effort.
Not
The
just
lab-
in the warehouse, in the shitter too.
Yes, everywhere. If you shit on something, please remove it. Please clean it up.
So anyway, if I shit on the CNC machine, I can remove the CNC machine.
No, remove the shit.
Or just don't shit on the CNC machine, please.
Please don't shit on anything.
Except for
Show
shit.
off spindle time.
And then not on
You
it.
get
At
close.
least not consciously.
It's true. Only deposit your
Well,
shit
Lily
in
said,
the
don't shit on
socially
anything except for the
acceptable
toilet. And I said,
containers.
even then, not so
And
much
socially
on it as
acceptable to
in
the
it.
general public, not just the lab.
Put it in the toilet.
Don't forget
And
to
if you
keep
leave a
the
mess,
this is the non-kid
Flush
friendly
again, and
video.
if it doesn't
It
go
is.
away,
I've already adjusted that.
Okay.
So the lab is only as nice as you make it. You decide what people see. There are cleaning supplies. There are bags under the sink. There are cleaning supplies in the warehouse. There's cleaning supplies everywhere. Please make this space nice. It is your space too. Cleaning supplies and eating utensils. Please consider purchasing and donating refills for supplies as needed. Ask in lab ops and management where to purchase or donate. Open make days. Great time to get testimonials. If you are looking for testimonials, which none of you are, everybody here is a member. So I'm going to skip that whole section. There's a show and tell. Does anybody have anything to show and tell?
Yes.
on the warehouse. Jesus Christ. Yes, Brian.
Brian, tell us what you're doing.
So I got a new 3D printer, and I modeled it for my first 3D printer because they're finally at a point where they don't immediately become the hobby. It could still be a hobby enabler at first. So I wanted something to hold dice and use as a rolling track. So I modeled it in Fusion and designed it, and a couple of revisions later, I made this. So
Congratulations, you did a hockey.
it's very cool.
Which printer? The biggest grinder I've ever seen.
And there are other little inserts for magnets. I just haven't found where I put the magnets yet. And there should be
It won't.
enough
It wouldn't let
space.
you go because I had it locked.
Can anybody see it now?
No,
No.
I'm seeing Jamie.
Jamie.
Hi, Jim.
Click on.
There you go.
So there's little recesses for magnets. There should be enough space in the lid to not only put the magnets, but put a little bit of felt and still have it closed only. I mean, when you put holes in it and rotate 6 of them, it's gonna look like that. I mean, maybe if I didn't use the silver filament.
What amount of 3D printer do you have?
I've gotten under 3 quarters.
All right. Anybody else have anything to show and tell?
You need an emergency USB bracelet.
Which is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, is it just on the radio bracelet? 16 gigabytes.
That's almost enough to hold all the medical records.
Yes, Lily.
My robot's out in the warehouse.
Did you make a thing?
I
But I
made
don't think it's perfectly round.
Yay!
Go on Flickr and you can see 276 pictures from Robot Ruckus at Maker Fair Orlando 2019.
Why don't you bring your robot thing and show it on camera?
Because it's fucking heavy.
Drive it in.
No, the robot event.
Yeah.
And the robot event, yeah. We put together a robot event. Thank you, Dave.
Didn't you put together 2 arenas?
Yes, we put together 2 arenas. Thank you, Dave. And other people that helped that are not in this room.
Did you make the small one mobile so we can just drive it around on the road?
I'm considering talking to Ian and saying, let's put the big arena on 2 32-foot trailers so we can just wheel a some bitch in there.
How about you put the little arena on wheels, and then you can have 3 people fighting, have 1 person driving the arena.
And then I get Phil to make his arena on the robot again. So we have a driving arena with driving robots in it, one of which is an arena that's driving.
Yes.
And the robot that has 2 1-pound robots inside it.
Right.
Driving it around.
Yeah. We can do it with the big one too if you want, but that's gonna be a little more difficult.
We like robots.
Stretch, Dave.
The arcade machine that I made at Maker Fair is wall mountable.
and is very light, only about maybe 10 pounds. So you maybe putting it up on those French cleats and being able to put it anywhere in the lab.
I don't want to do that robot arenas anymore until I talk to Maker Fair Miami next week about doing robot arenas.
All right.
Upcoming events.
Upcoming events. So, woodburning class will be 6 to 8 on the 23rd of this month. The monthly modular meetup will be between 8 and 11 on the 26th. The open make will be between 8 and 10 on the 26th. Technically, it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th if there is one. Sorry, 2nd, 4th, and 5th if there is one.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights. Open house is the first Tuesday of next month on the 3rd. Learn soldering will be done between 1 and 4 on the 7th. The laser class, which was on the 7th as well, between 4 and 7. We will have a board meeting at 7:30 on the 10th. There's a Lichtenberg meetup on the 14th between 8 and 10. The next monthly membership meeting will be on the 17th. FamiLAB LAN party between 12 and 12 on the 21st. And the FamiLAB Christmas party is to be determined at this time. We have not decided.
I posted a link in general and Christmas party with a Google form. Vote for your days.
Thank you. What days did you put on there? Every day?
Every Saturday, the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, and the 31st. So the 3 Saturdays of December and then the 31st, which is New Year's Eve.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey.
We have recurring events, which is every Sunday there is TCP/IP. Every Wednesday is Microsoft Server Technology Workshop and Cisco Networking. Every Friday is Embedded Microcontrollers for Beginners. The 2nd and 4th Tuesdays are Open Make Night. The 3rd Saturday is Electron Microscope Workday. The 4th Saturday is the Raspberry Pi Jam. 4th Monday is monthly modular and synth meetup. And the 4th Thursday is DC 407. However, that's Thanksgiving.
I think they just relocated.
Yeah, they're mostly done at Maker Effects now.
Well, that's the split I think
I'm not sure.
It's on the calendar.
So,
I did it really fast, I'm sorry.
testimonials. We only seem to have one testimonials.
What voice am I reading on there?
You can read it.
I can read it. What voice?
Surprise us. Go New Yorker.
New Yorker drifts into fucking soldering iron. In Russian, George Otland says of Noah Evans, he is bright, friendly, knows computers well, esp for a young guy, would be good member. And that's all of them.
Do we have anything from the Awesome Box?
I have one from the Awesome Box. I put it in an Awesome Box because no one else did.
That's a lot.
I should probably read it in the Ruckus voice. Dave was helpful in setting up Robot Ruckus for Maker Faire Orlando. He helped by providing tools and manual labor, and I paid him nothing.
I still haven't seen a fight in the arena yet.
There's 15 hours on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Thank you, Dave, for helping make Robot Ruckus happen.
You're welcome.
Fuck you to the rest of you, I guess.
Hey,
If
I
you
know for
want,
a
you
fact
can
I
watch
cut
on.
part of that.
Oh, thank you, Kit, for stealing company time and cutting part of the robot arena.
If you want, you can watch on YouTube where the patient will throw wrenches and nuts and bolts past you, not at you, but just past you, so it feels.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah.
and will occasionally just like slam the table in front of you.
Is somebody gonna rip the lights down?
That light still worked.
I know.
Did anyone catch fire this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first or second fight, both days caught on fire. One, it was like I was watching it, and all of a sudden, just the fabric of the battery went out the front. I'm just like, what is that? Oh, that's what that is.
That's magic.
Just Olivia.
Yeah.
The only one that concerned me was the young boy that saw his robot on fire, opened the door and grabbed it, and ran away.
In the small arena or the big arena?
No, the big arena.
That was Alex Grant. That's not a young boy. He's like 33 years
Oh,
old.
yeah.
He didn't want his robot hit with the fire extinguisher.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
he grabbed it, took it outside, pulled the battery out. One of the volunteers I had helping, Corbin, ran outside with the fire extinguisher, hit it anyway.
Perfect.
I was told that, and I just like, that's Corbin.
I am glad Corbin is maturing well.
He has matured very well.
And they were throwing it on the ground, and I'm like, no,
What was
there's a
funny
hole
is
right there.
end of Sunday, I think it was, we were talking about, the arena and the fixes. I was talking with somebody who walks up and says the exact same thing right after. I'm like, yep, Corbin, you are very smart, but I literally just said everything you just said. Thank you for your assistance. You're very helpful. I meant it sincerely.
New members. Gabriel Rosario is a returning member. He used to be a member for a while. He has gone through and started the process over again. He is not here tonight, but I remember him being a good member in the past.
And he's been coming to like the Cisco nights and the
Yes.
other Dustin and Peter led nights.
Yep. Yep. And we have one returning member who has completed all the process, and that is Mac. Welcome back. So, thank you. I'm gonna cry. It's not that bad.
We know, we smile.
All right. So, is there anybody else who has anything they want to discuss, bring up, mention, talk about, complain? Awesome.
I love you.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. This will conclude our monthly meeting. Anything online before I close everything out? I announced it in...
We have a new board member!
Roger, who is unable to join us tonight, he's driving to Miami right now, I think, is going to be taking the position that Luby was holding previously. So thank Roger for stepping up and helping out.
Yep, and he is a appointee.
That's Roger Flug, by the way.
Yeah, Roger Flug. As he's an appointee, his tenure will only last until the next annual meeting, whereupon the position will be open for elections and
Yep.
nominations. And we'll probably start talking about that meeting soon.
After the first.
After the first. Everything's possible in 2020.
Yep. Anything else? Anybody online have anything else?
The end.
This is the end.
It's not.
Nope.
My beautiful friend.
Alright.
The end.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you guys. Bye.
And the stream is ended.
Poop toot.